which has been, were you enjoying seeing Mark?
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for having me.
So I have a bunch of questions, but before we get to any of that, I want you to tell us a little bit about you. And obviously, we're here talking about the fact you're going to the Interlake. So we will mention where you'll be at the Interlake at some point. But start off with who you are and why you're here, and what's this whole psychic medium thing?
All right. Yes, absolutely. Well, I live here in Swan River with my wonderful husband, Tyson. But I did not originally come from here. I come from a small town, Stockholm, Saskatchewan. If you don't know where that is, Bill, that is close to Esterhazy. I was raised by two wonderful parents, and I've had this beautiful gift since I was a young girl. My earliest recollection, probably around the age of 8 or so, is when I started to feel different things, have predictions, stuff like that. Grew up in this small community. It was absolutely a great place to be raised and grow up. I spent my adult time, last 20 years, I've been in Yorkton actually, and what brought me to Swan River was when I met Tyson, and here I am today.
We always like when we import someone into town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for him to have laughed. He brought you here. We'll talk the Interlake thing. So you're going to the Interlake in a couple weeks' time.
Yes, that's correct.
A bunch of time down there. We'll get to that. But I think people want to understand better. A lot of us maybe don't have any experience with the psychic medium thing. It's two different words. Is it the same, or is that two different things?
Well, being a psychic and being a medium are not the same thing. They are two different things. I call myself a psychic medium because I have this beautiful gift that I am able to predict things, see things through visions, whether I'm sleeping or whether I'm wide awake. And that is what is being called psychic. A medium is when you are able to connect with people's beautiful loved ones, which I very much am able to do as well.
So you mentioned being 8. When you kind of first knew something was going on there, you had this ability.
Yeah.
What was it that happened when you were 8?
You know, I would feel things, and I'm going to give you an example, actually. When I was around the age of 8, my family and I were actually sitting in church, and there was a gentleman across the church from me who I did not know, complete stranger, and I could not take my eyes off of him. And like I said, I was around the age of 8 or 9, and I just could not get my eyes off of him, Bill. I knew something was wrong. I could just feel it, and it was about 2-3 minutes later or so, he fainted. And it was just like things like that. I would feel people's sicknesses. I would feel when something bad would happen. I also had that happen one time when I was in Yorkton. Now this is years later. As an adult, I was in Walmart actually, and I could not get my eyes off of this lady. I knew something was wrong, and I didn't know what to do about it. And it was 5-10 minutes later that she collapsed. And being in Yorkton for a long time, you hear things and the word gets around, and I found out that she indeed had a stroke.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've had a lot of time to get better at this. And when you read about psychics and mediums, it takes some training. You have the raw ability, but then you kind of learn to do that more over time.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Now that you're where you're at, I have to say, it would be tough for me to have the confidence to go into a room of people and stand there and say, so this is what's going to happen, or this is what someone's telling you to pass along to you. Because I'd always be worried. Somebody's going to be, that's absolute crap. That didn't happen. That's not that way.
Yeah.
How do you find that confidence to go in and share? When I'm sure in any room you have a bunch of people like, oh, this is fake.
Yeah. For sure. There's skepticals, absolutely. But to answer the question, for me, it's pretty simple. I am very much a woman of faith, and I say a little prayer, and God has given me this gift, and so I just ask, for confidence and strength, and this is my job, this is my calling. He has given this to me to help others, and so with that, I just say a little prayer, and I do what I am supposed to do with it, whether there's one person there, whether there's 50 people there.
So I don't know how to ask. I don't know if you know how to answer the question either, but what I'm trying to probe is, what is it that you actually feel? because I've done a lot of reading. Unlike Mark, I prepare for this show.
Yeah, yeah.
So, there's different people talk about different things. They talk about having a vision, or they talk about hearing actual, or just a feeling. So for you, is it all of that? Is it some of that? What actually happens when you say, this is what I need to say or need to do?
That's a great question. I believe, first of all, that all psychic mediums, like you said, are all different. How they see things, how things come to them. For me, there's numerous different things. Loved ones get very creative on how they are going to express their messages to their loved ones. I hear things, and that's why, part of the reason why I call it whispering angels, because it's like your loved ones are whispering in my ear. I taste things, I'll smell things, I'll hear songs, different things like that. Absolutely. And when I see things, I'll be in a session, for an example, and I won't be looking straight in your eyes at times, because I have to turn and look to the side a little bit, because it's like a television that's turning on and off for me really fast, and these visions are coming on and off, and with all these things combined, this is your loved ones doing, what they can to get me to say things, so you indeed know that this is them for sure.
So you obviously, you talked about the religion part a little bit.
Yes.
I'm curious the reaction from churches, because some churches don't always react well to this type of discussion. And how did that go? Has there been people who are like, how dare you say this is a gift from God?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. I want to say that, as I talked about growing up in Stockholm, I grew up in a traditional Roman Catholic family, and my uncle actually was a Roman Catholic priest. And so therefore, I was very confused, scared almost, because I didn't understand why this was happening to me. And so with, the whole religion part of this, I just truly believed that this was, from God. And so I just had to keep on moving forward. But, and all I can say, on the whole religion part is, yes, that's true. I've had people, say that to me, that, how can you say that? Or, you're not to know these things. This is for God and God only. And, I respect their judgment. I just ask and hope that everybody can be, nice to each other and respect each other. And, that's really all I can say on that issue. It definitely has happened to me a time or two. And I just have to keep on moving forward.
I've spent some time in church. I've seen people in church that say things like, God never speaks to me. I never hear God speak. And you see other people like, oh yeah, you're just not listening. You sometimes. Is there some connection between this and that? Because a lot of what you're saying, seeing somebody and having a feeling, knowing you should do something, a lot of that sounds a lot like the same things you would hear from somebody saying, God spoke to me and said to do this.
Yes.
Is it, in your opinion, kind of the same thing? Is everybody, I guess, somewhat doing this and maybe not as good as you are at listening to those urges and those thoughts?
When people say that they feel that God spoke to them, that's their beliefs, and then I'm sure, that absolutely probably did happen. And for me, is God speaking to me? Well, like I said, He has given me this gift, but where I'm truly, I feel I'm getting my messages from, I'd like to explain that I have this beautiful team of angels that help me. They help me every single day. And they guide me, and they help me to help others. And this team of angels, some of these angels are actually loved ones of mine who have already passed. And so, there's, people feeling that God spoke to them. Yes, absolutely. Do I say God's speaking to me every day as I'm doing sessions every day? I don't really feel that's exactly what is going on, but that's just my interpretation of, how this is all growing and developing for me.
I was watching some videos, you're doing some readings, and some people get really upset. I was watching a gentleman you were speaking to, and you were talking about his dad, and saying, your dad basically is saying, what the heck is wrong with you that you're wasting your life away worrying about if you're good enough or not? Of course you're good enough. You always knew that. Which sounded a lot like someone's dad would sound.
Right. Right.
The gentleman, you could see in the video, he was really emotional about it.
Yeah.
You must find that a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. There'll be, often things that are said that, they're just some mind-blowing moments. Absolutely. And, people have told me that, in regards to that I will say things and the way I say it is exactly how their loved one would have said it. And it's just, that coming through me to express and try and help people with healing. Grief is hard. I myself have lost, numerous loved ones in my family, and it is my job to help them. Grief is different for everyone, different stages, and I just hope that when I do have a session with someone, make that connection with their loved ones, that they leave my presence feeling a little bit better than when they came.
Has there been times where there's something you just felt you couldn't say?
Yes, to be honest, Bill, yes. I have. There has been a couple of incidences where, I just wasn't sure, but as time goes on and my gifts keeps on developing and growing, my confidence has come farther and farther, just like anything else, I'm human and just developing and growing with it. And that today I would probably maybe feel more confident to say something that I held back a little bit. And not that I didn't say it at all, but I would just kind of walk around it a little bit. Yes, that's true. A couple of times that has happened with me.
Walk me through a little bit. When somebody has a session with you, I've seen some of the group stuff, but I think you're doing some individual stuff by looking at it too, and you're sitting there like there.
Yes.
Some one-on-one, some couple stuff. How does that work when someone comes to see you? What do they do? If they've never been to see someone before, what do they expect?
Well, it's really quite simple. On my Interlake South tour, the majority of those tour dates are private one-on-one sessions. And when people come to me, it's just a very, small, nice little setting, and it's literally just a table and 2 chairs, and we're talking. And it's an hour. It's an hour session. And, there's 2 things. They could either want to hear from their loved ones, have that connection, or they can do what I call an angel reading. And an angel reading is indeed where I use my beautiful gift to help them if they needed any guidance in their life, whether it's family, health, absolutely anything. Or they can choose in that hour for me to try and make time for both things. But generally speaking, people want to hear from their loved ones is most popular at this time anyways. Yes. And so that's exactly what they're getting, is they're just coming and they're having a conversation with me. They sit for an hour and hopefully very much enjoy their time with me.
Is it taxing on you? Is it hard work?
It's emotionally draining, Bill. I won't deny that whatsoever. I do a day of private sessions, 5 sessions, kind of one right after another, pretty much. And by the time I'm done those 5 sessions, I am mentally drained. I am tired. I explain it to my husband that the front of my head feels like mush. I'm very tired. I feel like I need to sleep. I'm very tired, and I need to sleep and drink lots of water to rejuvenate myself. Absolutely.
When you're on a tour like this, I was looking at the tour dates, there's a lot of them. Yes. I'm just curious, do you fill all those spots? Is there that many people out looking to see you?
Well, I'm very excited to say that the spots are definitely filling up, and there is, a few locations that are actually sold out completely. 2 or 3, 2, I believe. There's 2 locations that they're sold out. Every day, new appointments are coming in, people are booking. And it's filling up actually quite fast. I've been very happy with the response that I'm getting in the South Interlake.
There must be a vote of confidence in you too, because people aren't saying, "Oh, well, she's no good at this." If they're booking this far ahead and they're filling up those spots, there must be quite a lot of talk out there that you're doing quite well.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, something that I do that has been able to bring my, let people know what I'm doing is I do a 1-hour broadcast on Facebook. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and it's called Wednesday Whispers. I don't know if you came across that at all or not, but I do a 1-hour broadcast at 8 o'clock most Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock Manitoba time. And in this broadcast, I am indeed connecting with people's loved ones that are tuning in. And with that, that has brought in a lot of talk, a lot of, people interacting with me every single week. You know, I have followers that do it every single Wednesday, which I really, you know, I love them, I appreciate them, and this is really getting people talking and knowing who Alison Wojcik is and what is my intention here of just wanting to help people.
Let's talk the Interlake for a minute. You're in Riverton, Ashford, Selkirk, Lundar, Steinbach, Stonewall, Portage. You wrap up in Brandon, which is, I guess, the extended Interlake family.
Yes, absolutely.
A trip like this, do you go down there often?
No, you know, I have not done sessions in Brandon yet. I hope that's what you were asking me, Bill. I have not done sessions in Brandon yet. In the Interlake, I have done, actually, a lot of sessions. I've done numerous, I don't know what to say here, maybe 7-8 full days of sessions I've done actually in Fisher Branch, which is, you know, close to Ashford. And, but this is my first time going to most of these towns. I haven't been there yet.
You're looking forward to it, obviously.
Absolutely. Very, very excited.
Will it be new people, or will it be people traveling that have known you for a while?
You know, I think, you know, you'd have to ask my husband because he's kind of the one that does a lot of the scheduling and booking for me, but I believe that most of them are strangers and most of them are, like, I'm coming to their community where they, you know, the Riverton sessions are booked from people that live in Riverton and so on and so forth.
I want to circle back to the discussion we had just a minute ago about the Facebook broadcasts. And tonight, obviously, is Wednesday night, so I assume you'll be on tonight if people want to watch that. How do they find you there?
Well, you know, you can go on Facebook, search Whispering Angels. You will see my logo with the angels. And with that said, our broadcast is right there. You just click on. There'll be a video that will pop up, and you just need to click on it. All right. But having said that, I'm very excited to say that tonight is my first Wednesday Whispers. That we have decided to also put Wednesday Whispers on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And also on my website, so more people can tune in and interact with Wednesday Whispers for, you know, people that don't have Facebook.
So I'm a very scientific guy. You know, I love my science.
Absolutely.
I love my stuff. So I want to know, have you developed a theory on how this works? And specifically, like, I think I can get my mind around the idea I come to see you, and, you know, the spirits are there. I get that. I can see, you know, like, you see different psychics where they hold something in the person's head. Maybe they're looking for a missing child, right? Something like that. Over Facebook, do you have a theory, like, they're not in the same room as you, they're not necessarily the same continent as you?
That's right, that's right.
Do you have it working through, or do you not, your mind is different than mine, you don't work through, I want to know how this works. You
right, you're definitely not the first person to ask me that question. And all I can say is, the message is important, it will come. I feel spirit, tons of it, Wednesday, you know, at 7:30. It's piling in, and I believe this is, you know, people's loved ones coming and wanting to give messages to people that, you know, essentially are all wherever, you know, different provinces, you know, different countries. And if it's important, it'll happen. I know, you know, you just have to tune in and see just exactly how this is all working.
So there's one more thing I want to chase after, and it goes right back to the beginning of our conversation when you were 8.
Yeah.
There are people out there that are kids that are labeled crazy or other because they have a gift like this and they don't know how to deal with it, they don't know how to handle it, and it kind of, you know, for lack of better terminology, gets out of control, right?
Yeah.
What do you say to those people? You know, if there's a parent listening this morning who has a kid that, you know, freaks them out every day because they get up and tell them something's going to happen the next day, what do they do? Where do they go? How do they help a kid manage that so that they end up in a good place instead of someplace else?
That's an excellent question. You know, I feel that the first thing I want to say about that is believe your child. This isn't about being crazy, okay? And I'm speaking from experience, because I thought maybe I was, because I just didn't understand it. And unfortunately, I chose to not tell anybody. And so my recommendation is that listen to your child. That's very important. Just listen to them. Don't be afraid of it. This is happening for a reason. God has given this gift to people all over the world. So I highly recommend to embrace this with your child and just see where it goes. It might go, just basically that, or it may grow, over and over through the years, and that, that wonderful child could be doing what I'm doing right now. So I highly recommend to embrace it. And, and if you're, as a parent, if you're still struggling, I suggest pray about it. Just pray, that would be, very helpful.
Alison, anything else you want to cover off this morning? We're kind of running out of time.
No, I don't think so. That kind of, wraps things up for me. I'm so thankful that I was able to come on and talk with you, Bill. Thank you so much.
Give us one more time the details of the Interlake Tour. If people are wanting to book those sessions, your website's a good place to start.
Yes, absolutely. My website, AlisonsWhisperingAngels.com. You can also email us if you prefer it that way at whisperingangels23@gmail.com. Or if you're not, a social media person, don't hesitate to call my cell phone, 204-731-4733.
And you're on tonight online. People can
Absolutely.
see
Wednesday Whispers. You betcha. Very excited. That is something, Wednesday Whispers. This is my way of giving back. I love and am very fond of my Wednesday Whispers that airs tonight at 8 o'clock.
All right. Alison, thanks for coming in this morning. It's been great to have you. I certainly had lots of questions, you could tell. That's
Thank
good to
you.
get some answers for some of those.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill.
All right. Alison Boychuk, she's in the Interlake. She's going to Riverton. That's September 24th. Then after that, she's visiting Ashton, Selkirk, Lundar, Steinbach, Stonewall, Portage La Prairie. She wraps up that tour in Brandon in October. You can find details on all of that on her website online. You can see her on YouTube tonight or Facebook if you missed her this morning. And find out a little bit more about her and what she does. And no doubt also find out a little bit about the people tuning in tonight as she speaks to some of them. News is on the way in a few minutes' time.